Casio have finally made a G-Shock for us small wristers, but is it worth buying? Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the MadWatch Collector Show. Yes, it's another show about a G-Shock, but this is a game changer. A game changer for anyone out there that just think G-Shocks are a bit big. Now, we all know about the GMD-S5600. It's basically a carbon copy of the original that came out in 1983, and the size of the original square hasn't really changed since. Ironically though, it is the smallest G-Shock you can own. You can buy smaller G-Shocks, but they've got baby on the front of them. What sort of manly man and womanly woman, to be fair, wants a G-Shock with baby on it?
I do.
Shut it, you. Well, in 2022 in Japan, Casio brought out the S5600, a G-Shock square with slightly smaller dimensions. There's no baby on the fronts of these. It's just a G-Shock square that's smaller.
Yes.
There are 4 colorways you can get, and ironically the one I've chosen, the blue one, you can't get in the UK. So Tic Tac area was the best place and best price at around £70. The only problem, fellas, is we've got to get past the advertising. Yeah, so Casio has marketed this towards a female audience, and it may have put some of you off buying it. Let's get on with it. Are you slightly smaller G-Shock square ready? Let's go. So you know you're dealing with a different kind of G-Shock. I've never seen this colour tin before. I'll put that with the other 17 I've got. They are great for storing loose crap in. Anyway, here it is, and oh, well, I must say it's not as vivid a blue as it is on the websites or the photos. It's quite a military type blue. Very dull, a grey blue. But straight away this looks and feels smaller than an original square. Feels like a G-Shock, looks like a G-Shock. It's definitely more minimalist looking on the screen. I do like the old retro multicoloured lettering on a Casio. So this one is a sign that we are dealing with a modern one. But first impressions, this could be a good one. Quick spec check. Okay, so these are the game-changing dimensions. We've got 40.5 millimeters in diameter, 45.7 lug to lug, and it's 11.9 millimeters thick. Now, if we compare it to an original G-Shock GW5600, you can definitely see a difference in size. For comparison, the original square is 42.8 in diameter, 48.9 lug to lug, and 13.4 millimeters in thickness. The digital screen is protected by a mineral glass, and you can see that this is a like-for-like design, just made smaller. The one thing I have noticed straight away is the shroud that goes over the case is not screwed in like an original GW5600. This means I can probably pull it. Yes, there you go. I'm not a great fan of that, I've got to be honest. In my head, if a shroud is screwed into the case, it just adds the protection a bit more. But if you get a few of these ones, it means you may be able to change these shrouds over and have a bit of fun with it. The button layout is the same, with that same recessed in adjust button on the top left. The LCD screen is very interesting. It does have a blue tint to it that goes well with the colour of the case. Very blue when you compare it to a GW5600. What you also notice when you compare the two is how much smaller the screen is. Still very legible, but obviously not as legible as the bigger one. As far as I can tell, it's a brand new module, the 3525. Obviously a G-Shock is big for a reason, for the amount of protection it has. And if you want a smaller G-Shock, obviously you need the same amount of protection, otherwise it's not a G-Shock. That means the LCD screen and the module needs to be smaller. Now the features are exactly the same on this watch too. You got an alarm, countdown timer and stopwatch. Unlike the DW, we don't have electroluminescence. Instead, we have an ice white LED light coming from the left, and it does a pretty good job, to be fair, but it's not electroluminescence, is it? It's got a 3 to 5 year battery life, and I reckon if you don't use the light that often, it'll probably go longer than that, but it's only going to lose at maximum 30 seconds a month, and that's at its worst. This isn't solar powered, it doesn't have an atomic clock, it's a basic module, but a refined basic module, but it's pretty Really cool.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and yes, I can see myself wearing this a lot at work. I'm a tennis coach by day. I've come to terms with the size and have accepted it. This one though is very interesting. It's about 10 grams lighter than a DW5600. Doesn't feel as chunky, definitely. And I love how that mirrored blue finish works in the sun. Just gives it a refined look, while still being that rough, tooly original square.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
So there you go. No more will I see in the comment section below.
I can't wear a G-Shock, they're too big.
Me personally, I'd love Casio just to bring out a normal black resin number. Nothing fancy on the screen. No mirrored finish. Unfortunately, that's the sort of possibly the female side to it, and why I probably won't go with any of the other references. Don't be scared of the blue color of this watch because it's not as bright on the website as it is in person. Great smaller dimensions, but it's still a tough mother. Here it is, my wife's thoughts on the S5600. I like it. I love the blue colour. I love the screen. It's a bit smaller. I like it. Really good. Yes, it's another Casio that the wife loves. Thanks for watching till the end of this show, and if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this beauty? This is a great show. Look at it. Great thumbnail, eh? Enticing? Go on, click it. Click it. Go on, click it.